Hello, everybody. It's Marilyn Harris here of Hard at Work, and I am here doing a podcast series about how to make an impactful legacy in your business. So one of the things I'm doing is interviewing people that work in the workplace culture and how to create a better, fun workplace culture so you have more productivity, more profits. You have all that good fun stuff that's why we started our business in the first place. So anyway, I have here Robert Manolson, and
Nah, yeah.
and anyway, so Robert is my guest. So Robert, please tell me or tell us, who you are and what you do, and besides having fun and play.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Marilyn, for this opportunity.
You're
We
welcome.
we haven't connected in quite some time,
Yeah.
and you look awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I'm an entrepreneur,
Hmm.
a solopreneur. I work for myself, and I have been for close to 13 years now. And I'm one part a certified career development professional. And those are fancy words to mean that I'm a certified career counselor. And I've been on a wonderful journey of helping both adults and youth in making healthy career decisions for themselves, where they're following their hearts, following their passions, and doing the work that they love. I'm also the fun at work guy. And I have a wonderful piece to my business that I call a powerful play experiences, positive workplace mental health for teams. And I've been in the business of fun and work, positive workplace mental health, team engagement, happy teams for close to 13 years now. And I'm enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying the ride. Yeah, and it provides me with an opportunity to travel around the city of Edmonton, a little bit into BC, a little bit into Saskatchewan, and definitely throughout Alberta, working with workplace teams who really need to step back and take a break from the always busy, always stressful world of work for something that everyone calls team building or team bonding, but in a high energy, fun at work, plenty of smiles, lots of laughter type of workshop that really is about positive workplace mental health.
Yeah, I guess too with that, Robert, is that you're actually helping everybody work together and trust each other.
Well, interesting that you should say that, because regardless of the reasons why leaders contact me via email or over the phone and share with me, the reasons why they would like to book a workshop, a powerful play experiences workshop. Marilyn, it probably just comes down to those two things.
Yeah.
How can we as a group be more effective in our relationships together, more supportive, more respectful, open lines of communication, and building trust, so that we're all sort of flowing in the same direction, doing the work that needs to be done for the organization.
Right. Yeah. So what are some of the biggest insights that you get to learn while you're doing? Because I know one of the big things that you want to bring the attention to is about the mental health for especially men, because they don't, do much about it. They just kind of hide in a corner. So maybe you can go expand a little bit more about all that stuff as well.
Okay. Insights. Well, I'm definitely not one of those men that hides in a corner in regards to my own challenges with living with and managing depression and anxiety. There's there's 4 generations of diagnosed mental illness in my family. So sometimes I say to myself, I think I'm an expert on this subject matter of mental health. And so, again, you're correct, Marilyn. The insights that have, been coming my way for a number of years on the subject of mental health, workplace mental health, mental illness, it's just a new subject matter. It's not at the top of everybody's mind.
Right.
People are lacking the language, you know, the verbiage on how to create conversations around that topic, just because it is a new topic. It's not a new topic, but it the idea of beginning conversations about mental health, it's kind of a new thing out there. I'm not so sure if there's some gender differences at the moment. I think across the board, people are just trying to find their way, their
Right.
language, you know, to begin conversations around their own their own mental health and mental health in their workplace.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
that
So sort of like what you're saying is sort of like it's the uncomfortableness about what do I say to bring it up, or do I even want to bring it up, you know, kind of thing. And what would happen if I do bring it up, you know?
right? You know, and I wouldn't you say that's simply because of would you say that's because of people's fear? Would you say that's because of just people's inexperience with the topic? What do you think?
I kind of think it's just feeling embarrassed or ashamed, sense of shame that I have this mental challenge or illness in my psyche, or how I operate, or the stress of something getting too much. So I don't know how to deal with it, for one. So I'm not going to say anything, right?
Can you hear that horn?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
We opened up the windows for the first time in days because we've been having plenty of rain, and so I opened up the windows a half hour ago.
Yeah.
And the timing is perfect. There's a horn going off. My mental health has shifted here. There's been an increase in my stress level right now.
Yeah, I think so important what your message is really about helping employers and employees, you know, or people in general, just to have some sort of reference, how to bring up their mental health issues at work, how to deal with them, and what if your play experiences help them in that matter or not. I kind of think that's some of the things that, you know, I'd like you to, you know, talk a little bit about.
Yeah. And what's, you know, what's really cool, what I'm doing is not, it's not a sit and listen, stand and deliver presentation.
Right, right.
It's a highly engaging, fun at work workshop. I use cooperative play as my tool to engage people. So here's another insight, and it's sort of springboarding on what you just shared with me. Getting people comfortable with the conversation, but through play,
Right.
you know, through fun at work. And that I have found to be just a wonderful thing, just a wonderful observation of how people can become comfortable with a not so comfortable topic, because it's woven into a very playful and fun experience.
Right.
And when people are laughing, people are smiling, and people are connecting, there's less tension, you know, less uneasiness.
Yeah.
And just the act of playing together, you know, is positive workplace mental health. So because they're enjoying themselves, the connections, the engagement with others, they're laughing, they're smiling, and then you reference back to them, that's good mental health. The light bulb goes on, and you say, oh, I could talk about this. This is not a complex. You know, it's so good that you're laughing. Keep laughing, Marilyn, and make sure you get me laughing more, because we can get into, you know, we can get into looking like we're carrying this heavy weight on our shoulders when we talk about mental health. And you and I, we're just not wired that way. And I don't want it to be that way with others out in the community. I really want it to be something that is, you know, so simple to wrap your head around, because, and it's not a heavy subject matter. I was watching you as you were asking me some questions, and you switch from, your wonderful smile to that, to let's talk about mental health, and it's just not a lot of fun to talk about mental health when we're talking about it with this heaviness.
Yeah.
When I wake up in the morning every day,
Yeah.
and I'm addressing my own mental health, the worst place I can go to is more heaviness around mental health.
Yeah. I guess, maybe some of those tips are just, smile more. I think one of the things I've learned is that we need to praise ourselves more. Because, a lot of people are going to praise us every day, whether we're by ourselves or with a group of people, we have to praise ourselves, be more confident, to raise our self-esteem and to be a little bit happier. I guess one of the things I read this morning is find something you're happy about and focus on that. And then, then that way.
Sorry, go ahead.
Lifts your spirit a bit.
Well, you seem like you're a person who's highly self-aware.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I work on
you and I work on that every day.
Yeah.
And that self-awareness massively impacts, in a positive way, your ability to ask those tough questions to yourself and then take action on them.
Right.
Using that as an example, you said, so I get up in the morning, I say, well, so how do I want to start my day? What can I do for myself to begin my day on a happy note? And what will be some of the challenges or barriers that will hold me back from moving towards a happy day?
Right.
And what if I just started my day off with a wonderful note of appreciation to myself? And you just being aware of that, aware of your own needs, man, that puts you way ahead of most people. And that's good mental health.
Yeah. I totally get it, because every morning I usually set the intention for my day. Okay, today I'm going to be focused, I'm going to be light, I'm just going to be blissful, and just go with the flow, make it have an easy day. And usually that's what happens, right? Unless I like you said, unless there's something that, if I'm faced with that day, that an obstacle that's coming up for me, or a big challenge, I have to do a job I don't want to do, then I just have to find another way to work around it. But I think that's just, like you were saying at the very beginning of the day, is okay, it's going to be a great day. It's a wonderful day. I'm happy to be alive. And,
can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
Yeah. Your example impresses me because you say it with such ease. You say it with such confidence and self-assurance that you can get to that intention that you set for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about folks who are managing or living with a diagnosed mental illness, and maybe that self-confidence, isn't there when they wake up in the morning, and the simple act of setting an intention could be a trigger for some other, could be a trigger for some emotions that now become heavy for the individual.
Yeah.
Do you know where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I know. I suffer with depression too. And so I know when I go in, because I'm so self-aware, I know what's going on. Okay, I'm in the hallway again. Okay. I call it the hallway because that's where I am. I'm in the middle of between what the past and what's over here is the future, something unknown to me yet. So I call it the hallway. And so I think one of the things even for somebody that's really depressed, I think the best thing they could do for themselves is explore to find out who they are. I was depressed many years ago for a really long time, and I went to counseling and therapy for it. And I was in his office, all the windows were drawn in black. And like, I want to get well. I'm going to see the brightness. And then he had all these ducks around. I mean, he was a great guy. He was really helped me a lot. But at the same time, I'm going, well, he was about the third doctor that I searched out because everybody else wanted to give me a pill and say, here, take this pill and you'll get better. And I'm like, no, it won't. Thank you. And so I think for somebody that's really depressed and everything, it's just really about waking up. When you wake up, just take the time and just say, okay, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm here. And just like I said, find one thing that you can say, I'm going to be happy today about this one thing. And
Wow.
even if it's just, I really enjoy my cup of coffee in the morning. And just start there. And then before you know it, you're going to find yourself finding other things to be appreciative of, and be really kind to yourself, because it's really about self-care, self-kindness. I mean, even though I talk about kindness in the workplace, but really it comes down to, from what I've learned from all the years I've been doing this, is that it's really about being kind to ourselves first. So I think that if everybody could just, start to become more self-aware. Why am I depressed? Why do I have this thing that's my head's talking to myself? Why is the monkey mind going? Why is that? And then kind of explore it from that point of angle, and eventually, you'll be able to cope a little bit better every day.
And imagine bringing all of that to the world of work.
Right.
And it comes back to what we were saying before around people, why there exists an uncomfortableness and uneasiness with having those conversations with coworkers. So can you visualize yourself going to work, having these conversations with yourself in the morning, on the drive to work, at the workplace, and then finding yourself sitting down with your coworker in your cubicle next door and sharing that with them.
Yeah.
And with their inexperience with their life, due to their own life experiences, or their life experiences being vastly different than yours, would you truly be comfortable, in sharing, those very, private thoughts with somebody in the world of work? And then when the boss brings you into the office and all the blinds are closed, that's another trigger for you,
right.
So it's so you can see, as we travel through our day, we get it. We get it. And now we're hoping that those around us, through education and practice, that others will get it too. And you know what? Everybody is dealing with mental health.
Right.
Everybody. They may use different words, but wouldn't you say that everybody is dealing with mental health? And I don't even mean dealing, but living with and managing mental health for a variety of circumstances during the course of their day.
Sure. Yeah. We all have moments, I guess, that, something stops us, or like you're saying, is you get into a dark room and your boss, oh my God, am I going to be fired? I have all this big stress going on, right? So I guess, the more comfortable you're kind to yourself, the more you become more self-assured and have that self-confidence. It doesn't mean that we don't run into issues of whether we're going to get fired today or not. But I think it's just when you get to that point when you say, I'm okay,
Yes.
I think then, it doesn't matter what somebody says to you, you can still get over it. And like, back to your question about, would you share your intimate challenges with your coworkers? But then again, if they trust their coworker and, they've gotten to know them, they probably would. But back to, your case is that, what you help employees deal with to build up that trust so that they can work together and share their experiences and become more of a family or tribe within that workplace.
What do you know about the national standard of Canada for psychological health and safety in the workplace?
None right at the moment.
And you and most of Canada.
Yeah. Well, I used
A
to know,
number,
but it's been a while.
a number of years back, the Mental Health Commission of Canada, in partnership with the Canadian Mental Health Association, as well as the Great West Life Center for workplace mental health, or strategies for workplace mental health, and others, all came together, and they have developed what is called the National Standard of Canada for Psychological Health and Safety, a voluntary standard.
Hmm.
It would be nice if it was, you needed to comply with it,
Right.
but for now it's voluntary.
Yeah.
And you just Google National Standard of Canada for Psychological Health and Safety.
Hmm.
And without going into any depth about it in the moment, that's a great tool. That
Hmm.
is a great tool to begin creating conversations with employers
Right.
around policies and
Right.
practices around the all important subject of workplace mental health.
Right.
It's a pretty uh, um, it's a huge package of information.
Right.
But if organizations, large or small, could just bite off small chunks of it,
Right.
it becomes very, what's the word, palatable for everyone.
Right.
A couple of years back, I took a 2-day training through the Canadian Mental Health Association here in Alberta,
Hmm.
and it was 2 days of information sharing about the standard, the National Standard of Canada,
Hmm.
with the intention to prep us to walk into workplaces and meet with leaders, decision makers, and begin the
Hmm.
conversation about, okay, so how do we actually address mental health in the workplace? What does that look like?
Right.
What are some of the policies and practices? So keep that in mind.
Right.
That's that's a nice piece,
Hmm.
simply because it's kind of heady.
You're right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to the nuts and bolts of, so how do you feel today, right? It's just looking at practices and policies. So it's a little more heady, and from that would flow, some of you know, the
Address some
comfort. Pardon me?
address some of the concerns more openly, I guess.
Exactly. And imagine an organization taking that on as part of other policies and practices in their organization. Imagine you working for an organization that
Right.
believes that physical safety is not only of utmost importance to the staff, but psychological health and
Right.
safety. Is that
Right.
a term that you've heard before?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You hear a lot of different terms down in the US, they don't call it an umbrella kind of thing. Yeah. So, Robert, since we're winding down in the conversation, I've really enjoyed it. So, tell me, if somebody wants to work with you, how do they get a hold of you?
If somebody wants to play with me,
Yeah, play with you.
come. I meet people, in on the streets of Edmonton, and they come up to me and they go, "I know you. You did that workshop with me." And I go, "Oh, so we played together, haven't we?" So if what we talked about, and I'm sharing this with the
Yeah.
audience, if what Marilyn and I talked about today and shared with you about the subject of mental health and the value of giving attention to it
Hmm.
in today's ever busy, ever stressful world of work, through a very engaging, fun at work and playful workshop, www.powerfulplay.ca. Again, www.powerfulplay.ca. And again, the business name is Powerful Play Experiences, Positive Workplace Mental Health for Teams.
Awesome.
And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. So,
You know, you know what, Marilyn? It is, and it's slowly, you know, it's slowly catching on with the minds of our leaders in our community.
right.
But for now, it's there's more questions than there are answers,
Yeah.
and
As long
a
as
little sort of uncomfortableness with it. But I think when there's folks like you and I, mental health champions, we're mental health champions out there, you know, that's a very much needed thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I had a pleasure talking with you,
And you
Robert,
too.
today, and it was such a great time. We've known each other for a long time. So it's actually finally having another conversation. So thank you for joining me, Robert, all the way from Canada. And our neighbor, my neighbor. Anyway, if you want to know anything more about Robert, he gave you his contact information. And if you want to know more about our podcast series about creating an impactful legacy in your own business, please reach out to me. You can go to podcast.heartatworkonline.org, and that's where all the speakers and everybody will be. And
people are calling now.
and thank
The
you.
phones are ringing as we speak. The phones are ringing as we speak.
Already.
It's the Marilyn Harris hotline. It's ringing. Have a great day, Marilyn.
Okay, thank you, Robert. We'll
Okay, bye.